Good morning. This is This Writer's Life. I'm your host, Alex Kuehn, and I have a very special guest with me today. So this is Kenton Kilgore, very good friend of mine and fellow author. Tell me about your experience. How long have you been writing?
Well, I started writing, believe it or not, in the 4th grade many years ago. I had a teacher, Mr. Roger Ricketts, at Solano Elementary School in Phoenix, Arizona, and he gave us every week a writing assignment, either a journal or write a short story. And so that sort of got me writing stories. I just loved it and started and never stopped. I moved on from short stories to poems, and then I eventually wrote my first novel when I was 11. And I kept on going from there through high school and college, and finally published my first book in 2012.
So you just got the bug.
I got the bug.
Gotcha.
Couldn't shake it. Yeah.
So I know when I first started writing Libby that I made a ton of mistakes, and I learned in real time very quickly. But one of the things that I had behind me was a support group and a good group of friends who had been through all of it before, and you were very helpful in that. Yes. So tell me about a mistake that you made initially.
The biggest mistake I made when I put out my first book was I thought I could just write it in a vacuum, and then I could just mention it on Facebook and people would go run out to the stores and buy it, and that was not what actually happened at all. I learned the hard way that there is a lot of sort of preparation and marketing that you need to do for a book, any book, and they don't sell themselves. You have once you finish a book, you're not done. You're just starting with that, you know.
Yeah, nobody ever tells you that writing is the isolating part, but afterwards you have to get into social mode. You have to promote yourself, talk about your work. I've never had to be more social than I am now.
Correct. Yeah, and many writers are introverts, and they're not really comfortable with that.
Exactly. Yeah. So tell me about this book that you have.
So this one is my most popular one. This is Lost Dogs. This was the second book I actually published. And it's about a dog at the end of the world. So something happens to the people, they vanish, the dogs are left behind. The main character is a German Shepherd named Buddy. And the story is like a survival story that you see through his eyes. What he hears, smells, feels, thinks, as he roams about, meeting up with other dogs, dealing with wild animals, trying to find food and shelter, and to make sense of what's happened. And he's also trying to reconnect with his human family. And no, he does not die. People ask me that all the time. Does the dog die? No, he does not. He comes through.
That's literally going to be my first question.
That's right.
Spoiler alert.
That's right. Everybody else in the world dies, not Buddy.
So for the dog lovers, the dog is safe.
The dog is safe. And dog lovers do love this book. It has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Amazon. Yeah,
amazing.
They really embraced it, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was your inspiration?
The inspiration for this was a TV show. It was called Life After People, and I just happened to be dog sitting for my parents one day when they were out of town. I turned on the TV, and the segment came on, and it was only about 3 or 4 minutes, and it was about Life After People was a show about what would happen if people vanished. How long would the lights stay on? How long would your car be able to start? Things like that, you know. And one of the segments was, what would happen to our pets? The short answer was, it's not pretty. But I took that answer and ran with it and made it a whole book, and really sort of delved into the psychology of how pets would, deal with such a thing like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is your most popular. What is your personal favorite?
My personal favorite is This Wasted Land, which came out in 2018. It's a modern day dark fantasy horror novel about 2 teenagers. And if you like Stephen King or Dean Koontz or Clive Barker, this is your vibe. It's dark, it's scary, it's violent, it's gory. It has monsters like you've never imagined. They're not vampires, they're not werewolves. Once you read chapter 3, you will never, ever, ever use a public bathroom ever again. So, yeah.
So my 13-year-old shouldn't be reading this book.
Definitely not. But she might everybody loved Lost Dogs so much, so they said, do something about cats.
I was going to say, what about the cat people?
What about the cats? So I did, in 2022, came out with Stray Cats. This is a little bit different than Lost Dogs. It is tied into Lost Dogs. It's not really a sequel. It's more of a spin-off. But the idea is that cats really do have 9 lives, but instead of living them one after the other, they live them all at once on different worlds. One world is the world of lost dogs, one world's our world, and another world she's a superhero in a comic book, and another world she's off fighting aliens alongside a space marine. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Welcome.
Tell me where I can buy your books.
You can find them on Amazon or on my website, kentonkilgore.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I need a good read.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, this is Alex Kuehn from This Writer's Life. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you next time.